Okay, so I there's some administration work I have to do. I do have to read a disclaimer because we're going to record this meeting. So before we get started, I'm just going to read the disclaimer for the folks in the room and on Zoom. I'm just hoping everyone on Zoom can hear me okay. We can see a thumbs up.
Yeah, we have a yes.
Okay. So this disclaimer is to inform all participants that the meeting may be conducted in person and via Zoom will be recorded for record keeping purposes. By participating in the meeting, you consent that the recording may contain your video stream, including images of yourself, your audio stream. This includes any opinions you contribute. Anyone attending the recorded meeting may have aspects of their personal data recorded if they actively participate or not. By staying in the meeting, you consent to being recorded. And consenting and attending the meetings virtually or in person, participants also agree to recordings being posted to YouTube or other distribution services. Is there anyone who wants to leave based on that? Okay, so we're good. Thanks for coming out, folks. So it's not the kind of circumstances that we would like to have on a Saturday afternoon meeting, but we did want to bring you up to date as to what have been going on through the activities we've undertaken so far. We realize at this stage that things are actually this morning in Katrina are getting a little bit worse, but we have things are being managed, and we just wanted to make you aware of some of the things we're doing in the background. The number one priority for us is personal safety, and that goes for our residents and visitors, that goes for our first responders, that goes for staff. That's the first key thing. So we want to make sure that everyone is safe, and that's where we'll start. From there, obviously, we've been working with a number of other organizations, including MNRF, to get updates. We have implemented what we call our emergency control group. That's both the folks you see here at these two tables, who have been in place since Thursday. So this is the emergency management committee is formed for situations such as this, but we have not declared an official emergency, and we're going to explain why we haven't done that yet shortly as we go through things today. So there's a number of items I just want to cover off, and then we're going to open the floor to questions. We have our road supervisor here. We have the fire chief here. We have our bylaw officers here. So we can answer any questions that we can. Certainly we will. If we can't answer them right away, we will get back to you and provide updates. So the first item to cover off is the fact that there's going to be questions about why we haven't declared an emergency. And there are only actually 3 areas in the province up to this point, based on the flooding that's been going on in the province, that have actually declared an emergency. We have a checklist. This is our binder here. This is what we live by in the emergency control group. We have a checklist that we go through to make sure that we're still in decent enough shape that we can carry on the way we are. The reason we leave this group in place is because these are the folks that are in the best position to help you out. If we declare an emergency, we are now basically opening this up to outside groups to come in and essentially take over the emergency. We don't feel that that's in the best interest right now. The folks on the ground know what needs to be done, and that's why we have stayed in this situation. That's not to say that we might not change things. We're monitoring this every day. This group meets on a daily basis as we go through this exercise to make sure that we get updates, we understand where we are. We have the ability to call that emergency at any point, but it doesn't impact us in any other way. One of the questions that gets asked is not having it declared an emergency potentially going to affect funding that I might get after the fact from the government, and it does not. There is no impact. You guys are in a situation where this truly is an emergency. We have to react to that, and if there's damage, there are resources available after the fact to get some of that financial piece taken care of. So I just wanted to make that clear. If you have a situation where hydro should be cut off, and we have had a couple of instances where hydro was cut off, I believe on Hornview Lane, the hydro number, the 1-800 number, should be in that package. So call hydro and make sure you get hydro unhooked. Especially if you're planning on leaving, if you're going to evacuate your home, make sure that the hydro gets cut off before you leave, just in case the water continues to rise. The main Bell telecommunications link is just by Doe Lake Park. It's across the road from Doe Lake Park. After the 2019 incident, it actually basically got submerged. So they have moved it up. It's about another 18 or 20 inches off the ground. Right now it's fine. So Bell service should not be impacted. Bell has been there constantly keeping an eye on that. You see it's surrounded with sandbags now. There's been a fortress around it. Everything seems to be fine. The other outcome from 2019 was one of the issues we had with Bell going down was that we didn't have good cell service. The cell service has improved since 2019. I still wouldn't say it's great, but it's better than it was in 2019. So the immediate concern is if the only access you have to the outside world is your Bell line and that Bell system goes down, you're going to have to leave. You're best to leave your location because you don't have any way of contacting if you don't have a cell phone, if you don't have good cell phone service. At this point, we're okay. Dave Creaser's here from Road, so I'm going to ask for a quick update on the road. At this point, we have had issues with Colburn Road, Ferguson Road, Horseshoe Lane, as everyone knows. Stowe Lake Road, as of this morning, the water was coming across as you go across that bridge. So it's obviously still going up. Dave has kind of an up-to-the-minute update for us, if you wouldn't mind, Dave.
Certainly, I encourage everyone to contact or look at the website for current up-to-date information as things change quickly. Updates will be posted there, and that would be the best place to get information on road closures. Things are happening quickly in some areas. We see anything connected to the Maganawan system watershed seems to be the most impacted at this point. Some of the other areas are subsiding, which is giving us our resources. It's helping with our resources. So we're out monitoring as we can. Please just call in and report any issues that come up. Again, as Riverwood said, we have Ferguson Road, Horseshoe Lane, and Colburn. Currently, big issues at the moment, and we'll have to wait for those to the water levels come down for us to do repairs. There's not much we can do in the meantime, and that's really all we can do at the moment. We're responding to trees as we speak. We put out more gravel at the end of Don's Drive for the sandbags. There's some at 180 Kent Road as well, and that's basically where we're at for the roads.
Thanks, Dave. So let's say if you have questions particular to the roads after the fact, we'll certainly be taking questions afterwards. Based on what the MNRF is telling us, so they have the flood, as you know, the flood warning is in effect, and it's officially in effect till Wednesday of next week. That's likely going to change and be expanded based on what we're seeing so far. We have heard that it will crest here on Monday, but that could be as late as Wednesday before it actually crests. The weather's going to get weird again. We had one nice day yesterday. It's supposed to get cold again tonight. So that may actually be a good thing. It may actually slow things down a little bit and give us a time to regroup. But the cresting has not, at this point, it has not happened. It probably happens on Monday at the earliest. There are, again, some information over here around relief funds. So the disaster recovery assistance for Ontarians is in place. And as I mentioned, we don't have to declare an emergency for you to access those funds. So this is for anyone whose primary residence is impacted, any damage that you incur. It will be listed on the website, but you can apply for that after the fact. And we'll certainly take in that application. I don't know personally, and Amy, you might know better as to how long it takes for those applications to typically process, but I don't know what the timing is like.
It's lengthy because they have to do the work, submit the receipts, and follow through with.
Yeah. So this is not. It's not going to be. It's an immediate help you out kind of thing. This is more of an after the fact, after the damage has been assessed and repaired. That's when you would have access to those funds. As we mentioned, this is a case where you have to declare an emergency to get at those funds. They're available, and the information is on our information sheets on the table over here. It's also on our website, and if you have any questions next week through the week, you can call the office, and we can get you even more information around how to go through the application process. If you decide that you would like to evacuate your home, we would ask that you again register with us. Either let us know today that you're planning on leaving, or call the office again when you're ready to go, just so we know where you are. So again, to make things clear, the municipality cannot ask you to leave your home. We will not ask you to leave your home. In fact, the only people in the room, I believe, are the OPP who can formally request that somebody leave their home. So this is really up at this point up to you. If you feel that there's a potential that it's not safe, if you have another place to go, we would encourage you to perhaps leave for a period of time. Let us know so that we can get in touch with you and let you know what's going on, keep you up to date as to the status, and let you know when you can come back. Again, more information on those sheets to help you with that process. This building here is set aside on standby as a warming center. This is not a place where we could have people sleep overnight. We're not set up for that. But if we get into a situation, for example, if we lost all the hydro in Katrine, and we needed a place to go, this would be the place to go to recharge your phones, to have a place to get a break, to get some food and coffee and water, etc. So this is always available, and it's on generator, so we don't have to worry. We don't have to be as concerned about the power. If you're, again, from a safety point of view, and actually, Joe, maybe I'll let you speak to this a little bit, but we want, especially if you're turning on generators at your home, don't do that inside a building or near the water. There's a number of just safety factors, and maybe Joe, if you wouldn't mind quickly speaking to that.
So anytime you're using the generator, obviously make sure your exhaust is pointed away from your house, not into a basement window. We do come across that quite a bit. Make sure you're running all engines outside. Make sure you got a GFI on the extension cord running to your house so that if it does short out in the water, you're protected that way. Try to keep your extension cords up out of the water and dry. Most of them are not rated to be submerged. Just anything like that. If you need to call and ask about some safety tips, call me or the fire prevention officer, Cam Hafner. Both of our numbers are listed online. We're more than happy to give you any advice we can. And I'm sticking around after. So if you have any questions, I'll be here to answer them.
Thanks, Joe. Another safety concern as well as water contamination. So if you are flooded out and you have a well, you've got to be concerned about the fact that septic systems are going to back up in this. They're essentially just going to get flooded. So it's best that you don't use your septic system if you're in that kind of condition, and not use well water until it's been tested after the fact. So this is probably a situation where after things have settled down, having the water tested to make sure everything's okay. We're not quite ready at this stage to take in a lot of garbage and waste at the landfill site, and most folks probably aren't quite in that position yet anyway in terms of the cleanup. But if you have things you have to get out of your way now that are causing problems, we have set up 2 bins out here in the parking lot. Bring it there and throw it in those bins. Is there another bin? I'm trying to remember if we put one up at Pickerel Lake or if we haven't put one up there. So we're waiting for things to kind of settle down up that way as well. Goal is if you have stuff that is immediately in your way, you can put it in these bins. We will be accepting that after the fact once we organize ourselves at the landfill. And Amy, I'm going to say there's no charge for that, but that's.
So we'll take your information and we'll ask for you to sign, and then we'll provide it to the township so that they have it on record for their filing. For fun.
Okay. One of the things that gets mentioned here, just as a FYI, is if you are grabbing sandbags, put the sandbags right up against your house. Put them out a little way. I guess the amount of weight you're adding by having a full sandbag up along with the water could cause problems. So as you're putting sandbags, if you're putting them around your structures, put them out from the structure a little bit. Just a bit of a warning. We have another 2,000 sandbags coming on Monday. We still have a number here. We just got another load of sand here, I believe, at the KCC.
The end of Brown Street.
Oh, at the end of Brown Street. Okay. So if you need more sandbags, they're there. And as I say, we'll be getting another 2,000 bags on Monday to kind of replenish things. I would ask that please don't take the sandbags from the Bell communications out. We actually we'd appreciate it if you'd leave those things. That's pretty much it in terms of updates from our side. So this group is the emergency coordination team is putting together on a daily basis. We're in constant contact. Things evolve, and as we've seen over the last couple of days, things have changed pretty quickly. And again, this is happening across the province, but our focus is on your safety Armour residents and their safety here, especially here at Katrina up in North Pickle Lake. So we want to make sure that we're on top of it. We will kick off the emergency. We will have an emergency response in place if we have to. If we have to escalate it, we will. But at this stage, we feel it's under control. One of the things that possibly happen is these good folks at some point are going to get tired. And if this lasts for a period of weeks, at some point we're going to have to say, okay, we need some outside help because we can't ask folks to work 24 hours a day. But at this point, they've all assured me that they're all doing great and they're all hanging in there. We did wellness checks on Thursday along, especially around Horseshoe. Anybody who's been around where we can't get around there if you don't have a boat right now. Did wellness checks on Thursday to make sure we're okay. Two people, I believe, left as a result of those discussions and decided to vacate, which was wise. But it's getting harder to get in and do those wellness checks now. So if you haven't seen your neighbor for a while, or if you're concerned about them, please let us know, and we'll get in there to either through the fire department or our bylaw guys and make sure everyone's okay. The last update we want to do, I guess, Joe, is back to you. Is any further updates from the fire chief as to how things are going, and then maybe some word from the bylaw folks, and then we'll things up for questions.
Perfect. Thank you. First off, I want to say a big thank you to all the residents of Katrina. I think a lot of people took lessons from 2019 and have applied it this year. Seeing a lot of propane tanks that were relocated or already anchored off, so that hazard's gone or mitigated already. Seeing good placement of generators, extension cords strung up high, well out of the water. So thank you guys. It's you that have made this easier for us this time around. Past that, just on a regional thing, you guys all know we work very close with the 5 neighboring fire departments. We've relocated water rescue equipment to Burks Falls just to expedite anything that if we do have to deploy, we're ready, we're here, we're ready, and the neighbors are still going to be coming. Friendly reminder, and you saw a post go out on Facebook last night, not to block the road closures. In case we do have to get in, we still need access to it. So I was happy to come in this morning and see those have been opened up. So again, thank you guys. If you are in the flood area and you have to call 911, be specific. I'm in the flood area. Let the dispatcher know. They'll relay that to us. We do have a list of properties that are affected, but it's changing by the hour. So the water levels are going up and encroaching on other properties. So just be specific with this dispatch if you're in a closure. And then kind of back to the generator thing. If you do disconnect power to your cottage or turn off breakers to protect things, just make sure that you still have battery operated smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. If you guys don't have those, reach out to us. We can provide them. The hardware in town does have a good stock right now, but if things change, even in the middle of the night, my cell phone number's on the website. I'll get to you as soon as I can. Give us a call. We'll get those in hand for you. Again, I'll be sticking around after here. So if you have questions, come on up. And don't be afraid to call us. That's what we're here for.
Thanks, Joe. Jay, is there anything you want to ask?
So I think just kind of echoing what Joe's saying, after 2019, most people that we've spoken to are pretty resilient at this point and know what needs to happen. I do want to clarify in my travels, we hear lots of different information about reports on what's going on with dams and the township is got the same information that you guys have. The only thing we have is what the province provides us in their updates and the websites. I've heard people say the logs are in, the logs are out, the logs are up, they're down, they're sideways, they're being used as fishing bobbers. We really have no more information than you guys on that. They are providing us information to say that they've opened up. From that point, that's all we know. So the township is not involved in that. I get questioned about that all the time. Well, we should have did this. We really do not get involved with the management of water.
You got a phone number for M&R?
Yeah,
I think it's in the package.
it's on the package as well. So, and I guess, thanks, Jay. Is there anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, that's just Jay's point. So MNRF, they do keep us posted, and throughout the year, even going back to November, December, January, they provide us in those months with monthly reports as to what's going on with the watershed. Usually about the middle of February, it's weekly reports that we get from MNRF. So this year, to no one's surprise, everything was pretty normal up until the first week of March, maybe the end of February. And when we got the report on April 2nd, things had changed to the point where the average amount of precipitation was at 163% of normal. And the snowpack was at 149% of normal. So in the span of 4 weeks, that's what happened. So they could see it happening. If you look at the warnings they had on their website, they went from kind of a flood outlook to a flood watch to a flood warning, which we're in today. So you can see it happening. To Jay's point, I mean, all we know is that they knew what the situation was and they were managing it from an MNR perspective. Beyond that, we can't control what they do, and we presume that they're doing the best they can under the circumstances. That's been a big improvement since 2019. After the 2019 episode, Adam Wakefield from MNRF came here and we had a public meeting and he talked about the improvements they were going to make, and they did live up to their word because they have been providing that kind of communication on an ongoing basis and always preparing as we get into this time of year when the freshet is ready to happen. They escalate the amount of communications they're doing. So it has definitely improved, and they're like us, they're managing the best they can under kind of extreme circumstances.
You have to remember it's a province-wide issue right now too. It's not just here in Katrine, right? Like Rod was saying, 3 municipalities have declared it throughout the province, but there's a lot of municipalities that are dealing with flooding right now. And I'm sure if you drive around, you've seen it, like all our partners, Strong Townships lost a bunch of roads, Ryerson, Magnan, everybody is dealing with this. So it's not an isolated problem. It's a watershed problem. And the numbers spoke to the amount that was there. So.
Okay. So I'm just going to quickly ask Dave, because I tend to go off script a little bit, and make sure that I've hit all the points. Those
are the major bits. The other thing that I will mention as well, when we talk about the emergency, the declaration of an emergency, it is the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing that will determine something to be a disaster zone. And we are in communication with the ministry. They've reached out. They've provided some contact, some information about the relief program, which you'll find over there. There are a number of resources on this table. I'm going to take a moment to briefly go through them. I do apologize for sending via Zoom right now. We do not have this list compiled on the website to grab yet. That is coming, so we will get that up and hopefully a quick reference. But we have information about your water supply, how to go about testing. I know that I've spoken with a few new property owners over the last little bit who weren't here for the 2019 floods. So this is very real. This is very concerning. So we have information about testing your water. We have information about ensuring your food supply is well curated and what is affected and what you have to do. About drinking water, about dealing with mold, right down to a mold relief shopping kit shopping list. We have some generalized information about. We still have folks who won't turn their power on for full hydro when water is up over the receptacles, and that poses a very immediate risk to individuals as well as any other folks coming in to assist. So please take a moment and grab whichever fact sheet you'd like. We hope we've made enough copies for everyone who like them, and otherwise, as has been noted. Everybody that's sent me an email, I know we are getting some frustration. We're getting a lot of panic. We do appreciate the correspondence because it helps us to tailor our efforts. We understand and we expect that there's going to be a lot of concern, and that can be frustration or what have you. To speak to the folks taking sandbags from the bell line, that it wasn't an isolated incident. We get it. Right? This is what happens in desperate times. There was also a rumor going around that we had run out of sandbags here at the Katrine Community Center. We are about halfway through the stock that we have, and we'll do as much as we can to get sand out there. I will also address another elephant in the room. Please do bring your own shovel. We do not have staff loading sandbags. We've experienced some frustration and some anger about folks having to build their own sandbags. I'd like to remind everybody, I've been working very closely with all of these folks. We do have a limited amount of human resources as well as other resources, and we're all doing the best we can. I know there's frustration about why isn't there more happening on foot. Our roads crew is an amazing roads crew. We have five folks on our roads crew that have been working around the clock, highly dedicated. and refuse to give up as they take that as a responsibility to keep residents moving and the travel and public safe. I think everybody's put forward an outstanding effort, but we do appreciate those who reach out, who exercise patience and give us an opportunity to work a solution. We don't have access to unlimited resources. And again, for all of the neighbors that are out there helping neighbors, thank you. Because it really helps us in the response of what we're doing. Please go safely, and communicate any concerns that are coming forward. I think that the one thing that often goes unsaid, and I will say it now, is it's evident to me as sitting on this emergency control group, that the folks sitting around this table care deeply about every resident, care about the problems that you're having. Council cares about the problems that you're having, and we're doing the best we can with the resources that we have. And again, a lot of that is an iterative process. Let us know what's going on. We'll do the best we can within our resources to help. Please take the information that we have here. And again, I know we're going to have lots of questions, so I don't want to eat up any more time for Q&A.
Okay, so we are going to open the floor to questions. Just before we do that, just to let you know as well that Amy, sitting over here, Amy is our lead of our emergency control group. And the things that happen here, the responses that happen, don't happen by accidents. Amy, throughout the year, is running programs for us internally so that we know how to react. We actually do walkthroughs of this sort of thing. We did a wildfire walkthrough, and we've actually done a flooding walkthrough to understand our response and the lessons learned. That's where this book comes from. So, Amy, thank you very much for keeping us organized. And Amy, is there anything you want to add from an emergency controller's perspective?
I would like to highlight, if there are people that are staying in their homes because they do not have somewhere else to go, we have the Red Cross that will reach out. They will come down and they will help you out, set you up for 3 days, give you vouchers. So we have a resource for you to go and stay if you need to come out of your home.
Questions from the audience or from Zoom, if you can keep it for.
We're also, sorry, Councillor, we are, for everybody asking questions, the only microphones we have in the room for Zoom we have one on the lectern right there and one back here. So please do your best to project, come up to the lectern to ask a question, just so folks on Zoom are hearing that as well.
I just wanted to highlight, or if Joe could highlight for us, what concern I had was that there are roads that are closed, and as a result, to get to those same locations, instead of taking 10 minutes from town, is now taking 45 or so. But Joe, can you speak to that?
Yeah, so again, working with our neighboring fire departments, it doesn't affect Katrine too much just because we do have our own ways around, but out in Ryerson, we do have some significant road closures. Craig Mountain is closed and Midlothian. So we have Magneto and Sprucedale Fire on standby. We've also relocated some medical first response gear to firefighters out there with the proper PPE. So to limit response there, we've been in contact with EMS, so they're aware of the closures too, and OPP. So we're all working together to kind of stage equipment and resources, places for the time of response. Chief.
Questions from the audience or from Zoom, Dana, if you can let me know that. And then
Yeah, I'll go. I go there?
Yeah, go if you would.
Okay, so let me just ask the question, first question that comes to mind. Advance for the future. So we're where we are.
Can you hang on 1 sec? We have item with while people are talking.
Thanks.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. So the first thing is, I don't know whether there's an email list for all of us for the future. Like, I know where we're at today, but maybe if we put that together, so when a crisis happens, because 5 years from now, 10 years, it can happen again. And then if we all get on the email list, then at least we've got a notice. And I don't know whether we're on it. I don't know. My wife's not here to ask, but I think that would be a good advance notice so that you've got something going on. So then we sign on, we know, you get an email list like you get a blast, right? It's the first thing. The second thing I had was a question around drinking water. Are we better? Because my well's up, but I don't know. It's safe. I don't know whether it is. Should I start boiling now, or am I okay to just keep drinking it? I don't know where the safety kits are, where the hell they are. Should I start boiling and then I'm in a little bit better position therefore? I don't know. Any advice there?
Two very good points. That email list is something that we did kind of address in 2019, and we constantly called Code Red. So it's important for the people out here to get a hold of the township to sign up to this. So it's not just an email. It'll come to your cell phone,
Cell phone.
and it gives you a notification, even with road closure sometimes, like I get them from other municipalities. So
We don't, so how do I sign up for that?
contact and ask for Amy, the emergency management coordinator, in about a week after she's
Wait,
here.
I'll wait till this calm down, but
She is signed up so that we can notify you. It's really important. It helps us. And Brian and I are involved with 7 municipalities. So the communication from those apps, they just send us and let us know when roads are out, when things are happening. And it's great. It's communication instantly. So, and then the second part of your question, absolutely assume your well is contaminated right now. You
Okay.
have septic, sewage, everything going through there. Buy bottled water, drink it. Don't brush your teeth. You can test it if you want right now, but I would wait until the water levels are down.
we should go to Boyle Advice.
Yeah, and then contact the Mattawa Conservation Authority to see for advice after this is receded on how to deal with the rest of your wells.
So,
In 2019, we did have the same issue and people asked the same questions. It's a very good question and we didn't address it today. It's important. That's the one thing you need is water. You can go a couple days without food, but make sure you have water.
so third and fourth things. Third thing is thank you to everybody. Think it's been great. Good to have the meeting. Could we have Doug fly in with his new plane and help us out? Just a sense of humor and, okay, so I guess Doug's not coming.
Please give us funding for a strip on the peninsula.
There you go. We got Amsdale and just be careful of the birds. Okay, thanks.
Amy, did you want to, Amy and Joe, maybe address the longer term vision around the code red? I know we're looking at switching, so.
So we do have code red at the current and 3 municipalities sharing the fire department. We're moving over to new platform, which will be coming in this year. It'll be first due. I will put the big push on to register your information with that one rather than the code red because it will be going away before the end of the year. Unfortunately, we were budgeting for the new platform. Unfortunate that the flood happened before we could get that in place. Our apologies for that one.
And if I can, just a little plug with the new platform, you as the homeowner or property owner can go in and plug in a lot of information, whether it's a seasonal or contact information to you if it is a cottage, how to get a hold of you in the city, where your propane tank is, electrical shutoffs, any of that. Very important information for this kind of situation. You can plug into your profile and only limited people on the fire department will have access to that. It's a bit of a pre-plan before we're even on your property. So it'll help in situations like this. Great. So what we'll probably do is once we roll it out, we'll do a couple information sessions. We'll come down here, set up a few tables, let you guys come in. We'll help register you, show you the benefits of it. So there'll be much more explanation on it when it gets rolled out.
Thanks, Joe. Other questions? Any coming up on Zoom, David? Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sure other people are wondering too, when it actually crests, how high do you think it'll go from where it is today?
That's a good question. Do you have any?
Get your names right.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think we can put an answer to that. Again, it's outside of our control.
We should prepare for 2019.
Yeah.
Because that was the highest that we've had, so that's what I'd be preparing for.
I think I was told that the expectation is that it might exceed 2019.
Wow. Thank you.
First of all, it has.
It has exceeded already. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 3.
It's exceeded already.
Exceeded Bergstall.
Oh, okay. You guys on the foot here.
Jerry, do you?
Is there an intention to put a disposal bin up at Picker Lake somewhere or?
As soon as it comes down, right now, there's nowhere to really put it. So as soon as it starts to come down, most of those along that shore of Kent are seasonal.
Right.
So by the time they get to the remediations, we'll hopefully have some stable ground down there to
Right.
put bins.
I wondered even at the south end where before the lodge property, there's that little driveway that goes in. That might be a spot as well that would serve as both north.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could put one on each side of the lake there. Yep.
Thank you.
Jeff. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Brand. I'm involved in the walleye hatchery group, and it looks like we're not going to be walleying for a while.
Just want to let everybody know that the government of Canada has a website. And people can come up and talk to me a little later on. It's a real-time hydrometric data graph for Dole Lake and Katrine. I have it right here. And it's pretty well spiked. Not the last, since the 11th to now, it's raised over 1.5 meters. But my eyes aren't real good. It might be a little bit above it. It all depends on what their last reading was today. So if you just look at what the chart is at Dole Lake here, it's on an upward spiral and it hasn't started going down yet. So that might further answer some of the other questions as to what's going on. But you can check all the different dams in Ontario on this website. And there's like 357 of them. So I had to scroll through. That's what I was doing earlier on there. Takes a little while to find the right spot. Once you get the right spot, write it down, make it easier to find next time. Anyways, just a little bit of information for you.
Do you have that exact website to look at?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
It's real-time hydrometric data graph. It's from the government of Canada. I'll go backwards and I'll show you how I found it. So
We can actually, we'll get the information and get it on the website.
just easier to come over and
Yeah, or you can
later on.
Jerry here.
Okay.
And
And you get all the dams. First Falls is extremely high. They don't even have a measurement on the outlet of Atomic Lake right now. They can't give you a measurement because it's too high. So everything comes back this way. And Doe Lake is a reservoir here to help out the rest of the freshet. That's what I've learned in years past. So they hope Doe Lake can hold it so everybody else doesn't get flooded. I know Lake CC's a mess right now. It's tidbit information.
Thanks. So I'm gonna go to Dave. I think we got somebody online and then we'll go to.
Yeah, we do. So we just have a gentleman who's posted, there's an app called River App that he uses that pulls the information from the government sites. So River App, you can look at that one as well. That was here's a gentleman who uses that but no other place.
if you're in need of sandbags being filled, obviously the staff can't do it, but I have access to teenage boys. So if you truly can't fill the bags, please reach out.
You know how that sounded?
Yeah. They're my biological children. Please do not burden your neighbor or overwhelm yourself or try to do something you can't do. We are a community and we will come together and help. So please reach out.
Dave, do you have those websites that Jerry was talking about?
We will get them.
I can text them to you right now.
Perfect. That'd be great. So.
And please remember, you are the eyes and ears of the community. So if you see people stealing sandbags from the bell box, don't wait a day to tell us. Call and report it right away so we can stop that before it poses a risk to the infrastructure. They're putting a lot of effort into protecting that, but they can't be there 24 hours a day. So when people are showing up in the middle of the night stealing sandbags, if you see it, call and report it right away.
I'm there to watch for them.
Perfect.
Yeah, I live right there, so.
Thank you.
So nice to meet so many people from the neighborhood. I'm new here for the last 7 months. But there is a cottage down there, halfway down there. What's the street? Dole? Yeah. And I kind of taking care of that temporarily. The owner don't know too much of what's going on. And when I came here, I was very impressed because you have a lot of responsible people, young people. And I want to say something. It's like after a great storm, there's a calm. Nothing to really worry about when we have people like this. And I sit back and I watch and I look at the cottage that it actually is greener. It's the water level, it's up at the window. And I'm nothing about it. Nobody could do anything right now, as far as I'm concerned. Right. And we have to just have good faith and everything we do.
And make sure to stay safe.
and stay safe there, of course. This is my friend Rex from Trinidad. This is his first, he thought he'd want to come up here to see what winter was like. Tell him this is the worst winter I've ever seen in my 82 years up here, as far as snow and ice and rain and everything in between. But he said, nothing wrong with it. I can stand this weather. I'm used to 80 degrees. I think in a big city we have more problems. People care because they panic too much about the truck and driving. Yeah, but it's the world we live in now, and we're experiencing something some of us never had experience in the past. And like anything else, the journey begins now. Yeah. You live and learn. Thank you very much.
Are questions from the audience or some?
So I have another one. I will walk up. Seems like nobody else has. So advise the people that aren't here. Is there a plan to let people know? Done from a resident or a cottager. There's lots of cottagers. If they come, that puts us straight on the name. So is there a plan to advise them, or do we know how to advise them?
So it had been discussed, and we had, it was discussed internally, not as part of the control group, but as part of staff, as do we put an advisory out there to advise folks to not come up, and it was decided at that time that it's kind of, in doing that, you're encouraging them to go. If you encourage folks to come, like, and you know, I have spoken with a number of seasonal residents, and I mean, my heart goes out to them as well. Some have just recently invested a significant amount, as we know, the property isn't cheap these days, and are well equipped. Some of them have video cameras and are watching. They're sending me screenshots of the water coming in, but you know, I think as far as there are some valuable reasons why they may want to. If their hydro is still connected, if they've been up recently and the hydro is connected or things are going on, to be able to disable that or call people in, there's a value to bring them in some cases. Long story short, we decided not to put those communications out on the website and social media, simply for the fact that we can't tell them that they can't. And reasonably, I think reasonable folks, if they don't have to come up, would make the decision not to come up. So that's one of those situations where we just trusted folks would do what was right, both for everyone else and for something.
And the natural tendency, I think, of folks is to come up and check the property and then just leave, which is great. And also have to bear in mind that things like the disaster recovery assistance is not available if it's a secondary residence. So these folks, if there's damage, they're stuck with it. So they're going to want to help. We do have our communications expert, Megan, here. We do put a number of information is updated constantly on our Facebook page and on the website. So we're keeping information flowing as we get it. And Megan does a terrific job of keeping that up to date. So anyone who's distant can go to either the website or to our Facebook page and get the updates.
One last thing for me, please respect the closures. We did have an incident yesterday in one of the other townships where someone tried to drive through the flooded water, and it hacks the resources because all the attention got pulled to them. They're closed for a reason. Stay off the road. You can't see where the shoulder is, where it isn't. Some of them are truly washed out. There's a lot of liability for you if you do drive through a closure. Investigate that on your own. Please respect those. Getting stuck in a washout, like I said, it taxes the resources and it pulls all the attention in one area. So,
Do you think you're going to close this road? No lake?
Talk to him.
No.
That's an excellent question. If it does come to that, there's access out the other way.
Yeah, no, I
saw. But at this time, it's we're seeing it's going to be. We're just taxed so much with our barrels. We don't have a lot to show where the shoulders are. Everyone just be cautious. I think everybody knows that. But for now, we're going to try not to. But it's certainly on the table. I mean, we don't know how much it's going to rise. I've lived here my whole life for now. Some other people have gone through quite a bit here, but we're just going to try and keep it open as long as we can because it's so important for everybody.
What resources are available for people who this is not their primary dwelling?
Hope you have insurance.
Sorry, who said that?
I hope you have insurance. Not quite rude, actually, that comment.
Insurance is one method of.
understand that, but my husband is an insurance broker, so we have proper coverage, but it's only to a certain level. And there are people on our road who are losing everything.
So if it is their primary, the province will step in and help.
So you're penalized because you have two properties?
That's provincial though.
You're not penalized, because you work hard and have two. That, I just want to have that, that is.
That's a good question for the, that's a good question for the province, right? We can't,
I'm just asking because that's kind of the information that we don't, I mean, we're trying to, you know.
and you never know with the event of it this year, you never know what's gonna happen. They change things based on political pressure. So the more people that call the province with their concerns, the more they react to it. Same as a township. Political advocacy is the way to change policy. So if that's something you feel strongly about, it's a good avenue to
I mean, there's
go down.
quite a few people in
Yeah.
the state.
Yeah, for sure.
But Tara, last name.
And just to add to that as well, and Tara, I think you and I have been emailing back and forth a fair bit, and I do appreciate the information, the photos that you've sent me. So we, as we sit on the information session, so as municipalities, we get links to sit on these information sessions. We did take the opportunity based on you. I think you were one of the first outreach from the north end of Pickering Lake, so thank you for that. I communicated that to the province in the working group that we do have substantial flood loss happening up there. So that comes down to what can we do when we're invited to these forums to speak with these folks. We provide that information and give them the best that we can. I mean, think one of the biggest things I've got in my email is, what are you doing to advocate on our behalf? What are you doing to gather the information? When we have those opportunities, take advantage of them. I think that, well, this is recorded, but there was a group of us sitting on that call that was meant for the emergency management folks. But we do take those opportunities to say, hey, if this is happening, this is a specific zone. The other thing that was discussed was, and certainly part of the emails that we had with you was, this is twice in 9 months, especially for the north end of Pickering Lake. And that is substantial. As the municipality, we recognize the damages. We have contacts with the Pickering Lake Association, the Lake Association, to try to push information out. And those contacts came in huge help when Colburn Road went down, and we were able to get people to unlock the gates to their private property to allow traffic to come through, so we didn't have people landlocked. We, as a municipality, care deeply about your property, your investments. I think the major challenge is we don't have answers to a lot of the problems. And one of the questions we asked is, are we witnessing a change of the natural water course? I'm not an expert in hydrogeology. I can't answer that. But we are certainly seeing some patterns emerge with the new data that we have coming forward. We've mentioned it a few times here of the communication is key. While we may not have the answers immediately that can give you peace of mind and help give you some rest in the situation, we are doing everything in our means to communicate the information that we have, right down to when waste starts coming forward. We document all of that to give it back to the province. There's actually two types of provincial assistance. There's what's available for primary for full-time residents, and what's available for the municipality. And those two data sets, we need to reference those so that we can make sure, because again, at the end of the day, if we have roads that go out and we have to pay for all that in township dollars, that affects our budgets, that affects increases on our taxes. So we're doing the best we can to leverage all of the support that we have available to us and provide that information to you as well.
Which I guess brings up another point just before I forget. Is as working through this issue, if there are things that we could do or could have done that would have helped you out, please let us know. Like, don't just keep it to yourself for the next time this happens. Anything we can feed into Amy's plan around emergency response has helped. And it could be the simplest thing, if I'd only had access to this or that. Comment me about the phone numbers, having the phone numbers and contacts to let people know. So keep feeding that information to us, and we'll keep updating our plan. It's kind of a continuous improvement thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, it seems to me this Magneto One watershed is a big deal because, it's been twice times. I've had a lot of experience with the Storm Prediction Center in Toronto, which is, they're doing their forecasting, et cetera, et cetera. One thing that I learned through them You're gonna think this is kind of funny, but chickens at a certain temperature can die, and a certain humidity level can die. So the chicken farmers in Canada went to Environment Canada and said, you guys are predicting all this information, you hold all this data. Is there a way you can make a rule up with your computers to push out the information to the farmers of the chickens that you're reaching that point where the chickens will die and the humidity and the temperature is coming up to that line? So we're going to dial out and put that information to the farmers. The farmer then does what he has to do. It seems to me with the technology we have today, with the MNR, Canada, watershed guys, whoever it is, can't they get together and do something like that so it gets pushed out there? To sit there and say, and I appreciate your sandbag thing, but to sit there and say, here's the sandbags, and then you go on, it's so late. You know, like you're already up to your knees.
I think again, that's a good advocacy point for the province to do. I mean, they're the ones that have these things that share this information with us. They send it to us. We could maybe already or not, do we? So if you're in tune with that, you can see the updates that we get, but it's not a terrible idea for the province to be issuing these things out in similar to maybe a code red or one of these system ways. That's the question for them.
I mean, if we can save chickens, we should be able to. Exactly.
Well, at least know it's coming, right?
Yeah. And we are different levels. Each one of us are different levels, because I'm hearing we're not at the 19 mark yet. We are. We're over.
Yeah, in some areas. You guys are on Pickle Lake on the north system, yeah.
And we are completely.
Just to add what you're saying, those hydrometric websites we were talking about, that's what I was watching, and I knew 3 days ago we were screwed.
Yeah, we're sorry.
So you watch that daily, because you can see it going on every hour, watch. It got to a point where it's still going, it's still going.
But we need to all of that corporation. That everything done on the sign up. No, but I don't want to be looking every night. Am I okay?
I can appreciate it. It might be there, but we don't know to look for it. So yes, there was a way to make it.
So one of the issues we've got is that, and to be honest, we could see this coming. If you look, and it's not just Magneto one, by the way. This is Algonquin Park. They see the freshettes coming. They know when it's going to be hitting. The question is, what do you do about it? And how do you act on the fact? How do we design differently so that we're not as impacted? All of these questions, pretty expensive questions. At this stage, all we can do is react as best we can. As we say, our focus is on keeping everybody safe. First and foremost, everybody's safe. Then everybody's property is safe. And then hopefully we can get back to normal. But it is a bigger issue. It's happening across the province. To Jay's point, there's only been three municipalities that declared emergencies, but it's mainly because the hospitals have been closed. So in I think it was Manitoulin Island, the only hospital they had to close. So what choice do they have? It has to be they have to declare emergency because they need external.
So planning committee or whoever hands out building permits. I mean, the reality is if we're handing out building permits and we're doing it in low-lying areas, nobody's gonna like this comment. We shouldn't be handing them out.
Right. So if you look at the building standards and the planning standards today,
they're different than they were.
They're different than they were, and they wouldn't be allowed. You wouldn't be able to build them, at least not without extreme efforts in order to flood proof the problem.
I think Ottawa bought a bunch of properties back after the 2019 floods. A whole bunch of subdivisions back because they're like, we're done with this.
Sailed. Got a few conversations going at once there, but that's going to keep one at a time. Because the folks on Zoom are going to be confused. So, question.
I just have a question on that. If we are, this is again second time in 7 years. We're in a situation where we have buildings in the floodplain and been completely flooded. Okay, will township maybe work with us and we're a temporary, like we have cottages, they're on temporary foundations. Would township work with us at some point in the next year or so in relocating those to move them higher on land? Like, is that something?
I think we can. You can put forth applications to change the sites of the building, and zoning. Charlene is the one to talk to at the office right now. And that's not a terrible idea. And also, you know, maybe there's other ways that you can get engineering opinions about elevation that you need to bring them to. It's a great idea. That's forward thinking. Because it is going to happen again. Like, we're fooling ourselves if we think that it's not. That's right.
Any other no other questions on Zoom, Dave?
We have some comment, if they know it's coming, then giving several days heads up would be helpful. Gives time to take preventative measures. By the time the sandbags were available, the water was already up and it was too late. Was a comment that was made. Another comment that was made was with respect to insurance. And as many of us know, the insurance world adapts to situations as they change. So are we able to, you know, are they going to sustain multiple claims on water levels that can't be controlled? So while you may, obviously we know rates increase, and coverages sometimes get pulled. And so that's, I mean, the comment that was made online that I'm reiterating. But I think the notification system is something that we're taking with and discuss as a control group. How can we get the information out sooner? We're also, you know, just something that comes in the back of my mind too is to a degree, making sure we're managing the information that's coming out as to not create panic. It's something, if the water had been managed, if not the water had been managed, but if the flow had been different, we may not have been in the same situation. We may have been in the same situation. So we can look at the response that happens as information comes in. I think a lot of it will come down to signing on to the new system that comes forward. All of those bulletins that we received from the MNRF, as soon as we got them, are posted on our socials on our website. We're making the information that we have available as quickly as possible. So in terms of putting out a more widespread bulletin directly to people's devices or phones, in the event that you're not in the habit of checking the township Facebook page or the township, that is our primary vehicle for getting information out as quickly as we can. And the secondary one, in the case of emergency, we would also have to look at our policies for activating the emergency alert system. And what does that look like if we're in between a flood watch and a flood warning? Because those can change over the course of a couple of days. But I do agree with the comment. The more information we have on signaling of that may give folks. I mean, in these moments, the day matters a lot.
It's a longer term thing, but when the new fire hall gets built, the goal is to have an emergency operations center in that building. So presumably some of these notifications could be coming to Joe's team there, so that at least they're seeing stuff. Maybe we have screens up that show these websites on a constant basis, and Joe, the folks there are available, they're seeing it in real time. So these are all improvements that will be coming. But again, that doesn't help you today. So we're here right now to do what we can to help you out. Are there any other questions actually before we finish up? We want to encourage you to reach out to us if you have any other questions, and we'll continue feeding the information back the other way as we get it. If there's going to be any more road closures, if there's going to be any changes in status, we'll let you know. I do want to highlight the folks in Armour, how good this team is. We couldn't do it without, and it's not just the folks in this room, it's the folks that work with the people in this room who've done an exceptional job. And I think Dave Priest could have passed with. I asked, we had a point where we have to get outside help because it's too much on these guys. And they just said they won't stop even if you ask them. Just want this issue fixed, and they're going to be there to help you out. So as a mayor, I appreciate how good this staff is and the effort that have been done.
Final comment on Zoom. So the comment is, we were victims of the July 2025 flood on Kent Road, Picker Lake. So we're communicating and coming up with a plan, right away to raise, rebuild in order to avoid spring flood. But we are still working through Armour's red tape to obtain a building permit to raise and rebuild exactly what we have. We now have substantially more damage than what would have been considered than what would have been. Consideration should be given to Armour Township for fast tracking this process and or opening up certain areas to impose unorganized type of building requirement to help with these situations. And then, sorry, there was one below that. During last July's flood, the water receded significantly in 24 hours. How did that happen without human intervention? So those were the last two comments. So a bit that we can take away on the building side for future discussions. And then the receding of the water. I'm not sure whether we have the expertise in this room to.
I think the difference in July, Dave, was that it was an isolated event. This is something that's been accumulative, right? So July, we got dumped on and it came and it disappeared. Here, we're getting dumped on, it's melting and it's coming. So they're two different issues. July was a freak storm. This is a melt and precipitation. It's two different animals. They both result in the same thing. One's going to recede quickly because of lack of volume.
And something different too is this time of year, we're fighting frost and the saturation of the ground. July, it was pretty dry, so it was a torrid up here as well.
I have a question. Ever since 2019, we've been watching on a daily basis the spring, because we're right on the mag. And you'd see it go up one day, go up the next day, then it would drop 6 inches. Well, days later, it'd go up a little bit, then it drop 8 inches, a little bit later. And we have the graphs. Everything written down since 2019. This past March, or I can't remember what the date was, it dropped. Boom. Like you guys knew it was going to happen, and you went, here, good luck. And it hasn't been touched since. It just dropped the water, and now we're flooded.
I think that's our conversation yesterday that we had out there. And after I talked to you, we actually heard of another location where they put logs back in yesterday. So we're getting this information hearsay and by what people tell us, but we're hearing downstream that things are bad. The moral of the story is we don't know. I know exactly what you know. What the information you gave me about March, I didn't even know that. Like that's a good statement, and it's good that you guys have those records.
I feel like it was a whole new people in charge, and they were like, "Hello,
yeah,
do this."
And I wish I could answer.
Years, it was like, we're going to fluctuate.
It was not an answer. There needs to be accountability. I've literally lost everything on my land. 9 months. Everything. Every funky, my cottage, my everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is not good enough for me. There needs to be answers. It's not fair, and life isn't fair. But come on, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be an answer.
I'm not going to make up answers for you. That's a disservice to
Answer. My insurance policy comment is unfair as well.
I get that you're frustrated. I think you have to realize that we don't have those answers, and I understand that you're frustrated, and I would be too.
I'm not even frustrated, friend. I'm not understanding how I pay the amount of tax that I pay.
Yeah.
And my buildings are literally going to fall shortly. They're going to be in there. Like, never mind. They're going to be the next problem. My sewage is literally coming up.
Yeah.
Then we got the next problem. My sewage on Kent Road is coming up, everybody. So this, again, I'm watching the videos. This is unfair, and we need an answer. If you can't get it, then get somebody to get me an answer.
No, that's where we have to involve the province, right? And that's where it becomes, but we can help with that. Most definitely. We can advocate for our ratepayers, and we do, as we did in 2019, get these supports and services. But as we know, the political system works through advocacy by you as individuals too. So it's right that you ask those questions. It's also right that you ask them to the people that control these.
No one answers the
So what we will take back, as Jay's main thing is, we do have contacts through MNRF, also through the Ministry of Housing, through people like Graydon, who's our local MPP, and making sure we're getting your voices heard. We know that down in Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, they're facing the same thing. They're going to hear a lot. They're going to get an earful again. So we will be part of that, and we'll make sure that we're advocating for them.
primary home, that's unfair. I understand there's rules, I'm not an idiot, but that is an unfair statement. And then contact your insurance, my insurance is lazy, put their hands up to me.
I think the rule, sorry to interrupt, can I make a suggestion? Why, the people, I think our property is gonna be affected, okay, that's okay. So economically, should we not be rebating property tax payers that are going to get hit hardest in the municipality? And we're all sharing a little bit. So I don't mind giving $100 of my property tax to somebody in this room that's being devastated. I have no problem with that, but I can't do that. That's the job of the council. So if you look at it and say everybody pays $1,000, well, the people that are getting devastated, they get a year of relief, and everybody else pays another. I'm just saying, like, because if this lady's losing everything, I feel bad. Things that I don't like. I think there's some community help that needs to happen. I can't do that. I think the council has to do that. Just take it away. Just a takeaway.
We'll take that away. Discussion.
I know that
We can also
way tax.
we can also look at like a fundraising
Yeah.
efforts, right? Instead of enforcing or
I like that idea.
like suggesting that every single person, regardless.
Some of us can help others.
Yes,
right?
I think we can definitely look at a fundraising effort for community members.
And this is something where the province should also.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That match dollar for dollar from the province back to us.
So we'll take that idea away as well. And I'm sorry for all the trouble that you've had on your property. And I mean, we can see it when we drive around. We know how devastating it is to watch it, and you're helpless. Like you're just waiting for it to happen. So we will, as Jay mentioned, we will continue to advocate. It is frustrating. It's frustrating from our perspective as well, but we'll continue to do that.
And we did get some changes after 2019 because of those advocacies, like our improved cell service, we're not getting everything we want, but we are getting somewhere.
I think we have to understand that the melt is 163% of what it was. So that is something that can't be, nobody can answer to that. There's not a person responsible for the increase in the melt, right? It's devastating. It has an impact, but it is natural. So there's only so much being done by humans.
And just brainstorming here as we're going through this, you guys mentioned you had a cottage association. The mayor did recommend or state that Gravenhurst and Bracebridge are flooding too. Have you guys reached out to their cottage association? Because I know just growing up in Gravenhurst, most of the waterfront is cottage groups. And I know they do a big push to the province. Maybe it's something you guys, both associations could echo together. Just, again, we're going to take it on our side, and I'm not trying to dump more work on you, but I'm just thinking if single voice, all the cottage associations working together, it might help too.
How come M&R's not here?
Yep.
Chicken?
No, in fact, actually, I have to say that Adam was actually, after the last situation, and the lasers were on him when he came to the meeting, but he was willing to come and talk to us. So at this point, we want them to work on what they need to work on, which is trying to solve the problem. So they're focused on that. We have been in contact with them. We had a meeting with them on Thursday. When will next week? I don't know what they have maybe organized.
No, the update. Yeah.
But at this stage, I mean, and they're going to come out and they're probably going to say a lot of the same things that we're saying. Is that they reported back on it. They could see it coming. They did everything they could. They opened the dams, whatever.
They didn't.
Whatever they
want them to watch dam. There's no vehicle tracks, no human tracks. Actually, I didn't make it all the way to the dam, but there's no tracks at all to watch dam.
Yeah, they did.
And one log out would have alleviated so much of this bullshit right here.
Right. They did say on Thursday that they were going out there either Thursday or Friday, and we didn't do it.
After I spoke to you yesterday, I believe,
Yeah.
I was driving by Watts Dam at 5 o'clock after my poker game, and they were there. Ministry truck was there yesterday at 5.
That's so damn like it.
Yeah,
I know that.
My cameras have shown how quick they came in. Literally, I was in awe. 12 hours. 12 hours. It literally, my trailer.
You're not Watts Dam. Up there, you guys aren't Watts Dam. You guys are coming in from the north, Megan, watch that.
Yeah, but if that's one.
Yeah.
The rest are probably the same. Like,
I don't think there's any dams on the.
back in the park, slowly let it out.
Yeah, there's no dams in the North Magnet one shed.
They don't-
Has no role.
They don't monitor on a daily basis. They're just, oh, when I drive out, I'll take a look.
No, they
And
monitor.
Maybe I'll do that next week.
No, they have ongoing
Remote monitoring.
remote electronic devices that measures the water. And it's right here, Dole Lake right now, if you want to look at the chart. And you could go backdate it to see what it was a month ago or whatever.
I've got all the levels
Yeah.
and I've got.
But this will verify your levels maybe, see if maybe they're correct according to yours.
Ted has a question.
I may be in the minority here, folks. I was 4 years old. My father built a cottage at the end of Dole Lake Road. I'm 82 years old. For 60 years, I have either been a resident or a business operator on Dole Lake Road. I love the area, and I feel that I have a beautiful location where I am, on Dole Lake Road. My taxes are under $2,000 a year. I wouldn't mind throwing in another $1,000 a year. If we could have a pool, people who feel they are happy with their situation and would like to help people who have problems.
Yeah,
I don't think that can be a tax thing. I don't think we can increase taxes by such a percent.
I would see it as a pool. Not tax dollars, but a donation. Like I donate
A great idea.
$5,000 or $6,000 a year, kids fishing derby on Dole Lake. That's something I run. I love getting kids outdoors, getting them away from their cell phones, computers, whatever they're living with. And that's a large part of my life, trying to get people out enjoying the outdoors. And we haven't got any place in the world that is good as we have up here. So if you can create a fund, a donation fund. I donate money to quite a number of charities in the area. I try to help out with the kids fishing derby and also the spawning of the pickerel up there. I also donate money to the hospital, donate money to Omega and Choral Society, $1,000 a year to them, to help them get costumes and whatnot for their presentations. I'm not rich, and I've never had major investments with the stock market or anything like that. But through my education, working as a teacher for 33 years, down in Port Credit as a high school teacher, I love teaching people. And I would love to get something like this started to help people out, like this lady here.
Well, yeah, but I'll teach them.
If there's anyone else who feels that they would like to put into this pool that could be looked after by someone in the community, I'd be happy to get involved in it. I have a comment to make. It's based on what my friend is talking about. It's my first winter here. Excuse me, I should address the minister. Everybody else. You, Rex, you right, me. Yeah. His name is Rex. His last name is Singh. Oh, he's King. So it's my experience with the winter of this year is a result of what we see. And I could go so far to say that the coast of Armour is not a steep roof. But I couldn't understand why the people didn't even think about that in the olden days, years ago. But now that what we have, we need get better ideas to prepare ourselves for the future in the sense of minor little things like doing landscaping around your property so the water will run off in the right direction, right? And also when you have a snow on top of your house, people who, like myself, don't know what to do. And nobody could come to help you take the roof to the house. And if there is, the community has a program where that would be nice that it's not maybe the fire people with the ladder and stuff like that. They can help, right? And I could ask my neighbor, but he's more helpless than I am. And we have, I would imagine there are 2 feet of ice and 1 foot of snow, which is getting hard. And I went up on that roof very carefully. And I did it myself, and that's why I could be so brave to know that all you people over here should be people who have the courage to do this kind of thing. And if you're not courageous enough to do that, you should get professional. Right? And for the next winter, maybe, or maybe the winter to come. This should be in one package regarding the flood and all. Thank you very much.
So just going back to what you were saying for your place in Picker Lake, like my mother-in-law's on the Magnetawan River. And she's waiting for the illness, dealt with this, like she's a widower. I'm
Widower, my husband just passed 8 months.
yeah, I'm trying to sandbag her house. I just finished 4 months. I get your frustration. Like, what I learned from the last time talking to M&R people and just talking to the dam people the other day, the people who adjusted, they were saying there's all these choke points of the dams. And no matter how much they take out or leave in, it's still coming over. But if you think of every lake as like a bathtub, and you've got a bathtub and a bathtub and a bathtub, if this one's full and it's going to overflow. This one's going to overflow. This is just like 19 now. Just to put it bluntly, we just got fucked this year. There's nothing that could have been done based on what I've seen in my mother-in-law's place. And the amount of rain we got in the past 3 weeks, you can't stop that. The ice, so it's pushing into there, the water won't go anywhere. It's just bad luck again.
Where the water's coming. From Norwood in front of my house, takes 3 days.
And all the dams being opened up, doesn't make any difference. And that's just based on what we've seen last few days. Just
Nothing you can do about it.
no. You can yell at them and argue, like I get the frustration, believe me. We had her out of her place. Not sleeping, running bumps, and you're just stressed. So I totally get what you're saying. And the M&R, I don't really think could have done anything else.
Yeah. A couple of closing comments. I do see some people likely going to deal with water situations. So there are a couple of good ideas that I will just speak. So it's on the audio recording. Has council formally written to Grady Smith's office requesting his direct intervention in accelerating the water management plan amendments that were committed to under the Muskoka Watershed Conservation Management Initiative, and to bring it forward to our townships. If not, why not? And when will that happen? So that was discussed. That the plan amendments were discussed from the MNR, the MNR call we had. And I think that's something we can take away and look at what other folks are doing and jump on that. And again, similar to what was mentioned here, work with what the messaging of the municipalities are pushing forward and add our council's voice to it. Another comment from a participant on Zoom. Can Armour speak to the accessibility of demo building permits for flood victims? Will more consideration be given so we can take that away for debrief? And then a final comment: would it be feasible for a township to have sandbags filled and stored, ready to go for the future? I mean,
We had entertained that in the 2019 round of things, but they will degrade when they're already filled with sand. We have some other options that we'd like to investigate rather than having stored sandbags that degrade before they need to be used.
He was absolutely right. They turn to dust. And if you think you have all this, then you can make a commitment that we're prepared, and you go to grab one and just they go to dust. You have to protect them. They have to protect from the sun. They have to protect from the weather.
Or perhaps invest in a hopper. I've seen it in Ottawa where it's a industrial looking hopper. The tractor dumps sand and you just fill bags. And it's so much faster. If you had one of those, everybody could set up a time. You show up at 10 o'clock, you show up at 10:30, and you get your bags filled.
It's good, yeah. Any other questions? I know everybody's anxious to get back and make sure things are not getting any worse. It's still raining out, it looks like. We're we're here to help out in any way we can. We're gonna continue this group and we will be meeting every
Got an
day.
extra shovel in my truck, you can come and help.
And we hope this has been helpful in terms of information. We're sorry we can't do more. But we will continue to do everything we can, and we'll certainly advocate for some of the issues that we raised in the right here. With M&R app and with our local MPP. Is there anything else that I've missed, Steve? Okay, appreciate everyone coming out. What you are doing, hopefully it won't take you too much longer. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Okay.